Many moms of kids with autism and toddlers just showing signs of autism need a lot of support, and they very rarely get it. Today, we are talking about the needs of caregivers and why support groups, both in person and online, are great. Hi, I'm Dr. Mary Barbera, autism mom, behavior analyst, and best-selling author. Each week, I bring you some of my ideas about turning autism and signs of autism around. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, you can do that now. Today, we're sharing a small excerpt from a podcast interview I did with Kate Swenson and Amanda DeLuca, all about their More Than a Caregiver project. It's a nonprofit. It brings together moms and other female caregivers in live events and also online support. So let's check this out. You also did something with siblings, the More Than Sibling Project. So can you talk about that?
Mm-hmm. Do you want me to do it? Are you?
Sure, go ahead. Yep.
So I have a huge passion for the siblings. I think, Sawyer was 2 years apart, 2 years younger than Cooper. Still to this day, I have healed from so many things that have happened. I have grown so much, but I still have really big feelings around sibling guilt. And I speak very openly about that in my book, Forever Boy. I talk about it publicly. And we wanted to recognize, how did we word it? The tiny ones born into advocacy, the tiny humans born into it. And, that's what Sawyer was. Sawyer was born into this, and he suddenly is advocating at school and for his peers. And during his conferences, they're saying, he may be behind here, but he is the nice kid. And that to me is because of Cooper and because of the way we raised him. So we held I'll call it a contest, but we just asked for nominations of siblings, and they didn't all come in from moms. Some came in from aunts or friends or different people, and put together a little video, a little compilation reel, and then pick 3 winners. And we wanted to give them some sort of scholarship to bring them something that they wouldn't normally get, like something that would never happen, like a trip to Disney World or, something out of the norm. And that was really fun. I think we should do that. I mean, we'll probably do that again every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, as most listeners know, and you two know, I have a son who was 18 months younger than Lucas, and his name is Spencer. And he's actually on the biggest fan favorite podcast ever, is my interview with Spencer, who's in med school now. And we did that in my video studio live when he was home during COVID before he started medical school and flew back to New Orleans. So we will link that in the show notes. And in a lot of ways, I don't know your son, and you have a daughter, right, Amanda? Mm-hmm. But, in a lot of ways, the Cooper and Sawyer connection and the younger brother being the advocate is just so reminds me of Lucas and Spencer in so many ways. So we'll link that in the show notes. But yeah, we don't just talk about Spencer and his experience, but we talk about siblings in general. He didn't want to see any of the questions ahead of time. I did some research on siblings and asked him some questions, and he's quite an advocate. And even when he was, going through high school, Lucas went to the same public high school, but he was in special education. But some of the higher language kids were in Spencer's class, in the musicals with him, and I remember a choral trip where, there was a boy that was, fully conversational, but he was definitely on the spectrum, and Spencer knew that. And somebody came up in New York City. It was like, hey, can I borrow, some money? And it was kind of targeting this kid, a stranger. And Spencer told me, he went over, he told the kid to put his wallet away and told the guy to get lost. And, I think our kids just have that radar of hey, here's somebody that needs more help. And I think they'll all be really amazing advocates and very resilient in the end. But it is tough when you're man, so much focus on autism, so much focus on splitting up as a family, and when we can't really do that, because how's that going to be? And it's hard to kind of include the whole family unit for a lot of things. We just went to a family wedding though. And, like it is special when it does, for my family, at least, we're getting to the point where it's not a struggle. It's just, okay, Lucas can do this. Lucas will be happy there. And Lucas he danced, he loved it, and he had a great time. So, yeah.
I just did a book signing in Arizona, and it was a great turnout. It was so fun. And this little girl, I heard this little voice. She raised her hand. She had to have been like 6 or 7. And she goes, "Does Koopa ever hit you or Sawyer?" She's like, "Because my brother, he hurts me sometimes and he hurts my mom." And the mom's sobbing next to her, right? I mean, and I'm trying to hold it back. And it's like, these kids, there are so many blessings to having a sibling with a disability. I firmly believe that. But there are hard parts. And sometimes we brush over them. So, Amanda and I were like, let's recognize some of these kids. Let's just tell them that we're thankful for them.
Right.
And we had a retreat in September where we were able to bring caregivers together in person, which is a whole thing in itself, the power of that. But one of the speakers, her message was doing what's best for your whole family. Because like you said, for so long, we're focused just on autism or just on whatever the disability diagnosis is. And that's a real mind shift, I think, for us with 2 littles is we have to start looking at the whole family because there is a life to live and there are experiences that my daughter also has to have. So I think the permission to think that way is important.
Yeah. And you did just do a camp, like a weekend camp. It looked so much fun. I didn't know anything about it. And I was like, that looks amazing. So that's part of the More Than project too, where you hold in-person events?
So yes, and it was a surprise because I am the planner. Kate is the yes. So we were on a Zoom planning to discuss the opportunity, and the woman who organizes the camp was like, "Well, you should come." Kate's like, "Yes, we will be there." So I panicked. But it was amazing. It was like we sent 90 moms away to summer camp for 3 days. We were worried that we wouldn't even have 15. That was the minimum to hold it. We ended up with about 90 to 95. And we were worried about icebreakers and games and get to know you activities. And from the minute they checked in, the lakefront view was full of moms sitting in chairs, and the fire was full of women sitting around the fire, sharing their stories, talking about their children, talking about themselves finally, because I think we forget how to do that a little bit. And we were able to bring some tears, some laughter, some amazing giveaways, and just really build bonds. Kate, I think you shared about it. One of the moms said, "I received more support in the 48 hours I've been here than I've ever received before with a child with autism."
Wow.
And she actually had skipped her. I mean, everyone has a story. That's what, and Mary can relate to this too, with the size of her platform, but like everyone has a story and everyone tells me their story, and they're all powerful and they're all important. And what we did was we gave 90 women the opportunity to share their stories, and they could share it, privately, or they could stand up and tell their story. But the woman the quote that Amanda just said, she skipped her sister's baby shower or wedding shower or something because she needed this. She's like, "I need this." Another mom was saying that she, my mind just went blank. Another mom, what was the other really powerful story? Oh, another mom told me that the same day her son was diagnosed with autism, her nephew, the same age little boy, was diagnosed with cancer. Very tragic. And he's fine. He's in remission. But she's like, "I got no support for my son with autism for 2 years because we were so focused on," and all these stories rise up to the top. And it's like, we just gave these women an opportunity to just share. And that's all they're looking for, is to share and for someone to understand.
I hope you enjoyed that short excerpt from podcast 203. If you did, you can listen to the whole show. You can leave a comment, share it with somebody that might benefit. And for more information about how you can join our online course and community, which is super supportive, you can attend a free workshop to see if it's a right fit for you at marybarbera.com/workshops. And I'll see you right here next time.